Okay, so I am going to show you how to print out one of the inside printed pages for the prayer journal or any kind of journal. It doesn't necessarily have to be a prayer journal, any journal. So this is the one that we're going to use. We don't need this one right now, so we're going to go over to our layers panel and we're going to click the eyeball because we don't need that right now. We are not going to resize this at all because if you resize it, it will not fit with all of the other pages and dividers in your journal. You will have to resize it all. So what I like to do is if you come down here on this bottom left hand side, there's a zoom. You can go minus to make it smaller or hit the plus sign to make it larger. I like to see my entire work area on the screen, so I tend to go smaller. So what we're going to do is, let's just say you wanted to use a page or anything off the internet. This is going to be an actual printed page. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your internet browser and you're going to type in whatever it is that you're wanting. So for this one, let's do prayer printable page. Let's just try any random one. Okay, let's just go to images and see what comes up. Sometimes these work, sometimes they're a little bit too blurry. So let's say, let's just pick any random one. Let's just pick this one. Okay. So now once you have your picture, what I do, everybody's internet browser may be different, but what I do is I go to my image and I right click. This brings up this little menu. So now I usually click open image in new tab. Then it opens up a whole nother tab with your image. Once the other image is in another tab, I right click again and I will click save image as. So now I am just going to name it prayer journal and I'm going to save it on my desktop so it's easy for me to find. And then click save. Oh. Prayer, not sure what happened. Prayer journal page, we'll name it. Okay, so now it's saved to my desktop. Now what I want to do is go back to Cricut Design Space and upload the image that we just saved onto the computer to Cricut Design Space. So what you're going to do is click upload. Then you're going to click upload image. Now we're going to go to browse, or you can drag and drop your file. I usually just like to browse. So now we need to find the image that we just saved. I saved it on my desktop, so I'm going to click desktop and I'm going to scroll down and find it. Where'd it go? I have so many things on my desktop. There we go. Here's our image, and now you're going to click open. So now what you're going to do is, there are three options: simple, moderately complex, or complex. I always click complex and then click continue. Now when you get to this screen, you have the option of taking off some of the areas or leaving it as is. I'm going to click the first one that says select and erase and see if I can take off these black areas. No, that took off everything. So we're just going to leave it. So click continue. Now since we're going to print, we're going to leave it on print and cut. And on here you have the option to change the name image and put tag. So I'm going to put printable page journal. And then you're going to click save once you have renamed that image. Now when you get to this screen, I'm going to select the image I just uploaded and click Insert. Once you press Insert, it is now on your map. So what I did with my other pages is basically what you are going to do is you're going to use this first page as your template. This is going to go right over this, and we're going to flatten them together so we can print it. So again, I like to see my entire work area on my screen, so I'm going to go just a tiny bit smaller. And I'm going to move this over. Because remember, we are not resizing this. This stays as is. We are not changing the size. We are only using our magnifier to go bigger or smaller. So now, what you're going to do is click on your image that you uploaded and place it on top of the divider. You're going to resize it to the size that you'd like. Now for me, I want this to be the exact size of the divider because I want it to take up an entire page. So if I only use the arrows, it's not going to work. It's going to be bigger and it's not going to reach all the way down. So what you need to do is click the unlock, which is here, or you can click here to unlock the image. Now what you can do is resize it long ways. You can resize the width or the length. So you got to be careful not to come to the left too much because then you'll cover the holes, and whatever's over the holes will also get holes on it. So what I like to do is go right next to where the holes will be and then drag it over to the right and all the way down. Now the length is the same. As you can see, a little bit of the black, but that's fine. I'm going to change it to white. Then on this step, you can choose whether you want to leave it black or you can change it to another color. What I learned is if you leave it black, when you go to print and then have the Cricut cut it, it doesn't cut it correctly because it's now seeing the black around your image and it's seeing the black in your picture. So you can change it to whatever color you want to match your journal. So if you're going with the pink and purple theme, you can change it to purple or you can change it to pink, whatever color you want. For most of my pages, I just change them to white because it blends. For this one, you're going to still see the black lines because of the image that I chose. But normally you would not see this black area on here. But that's okay because I'm only doing this to show you guys. So now once you've changed your color and they're on top of each other, you want to click Select All. This is going to highlight both pages together. So now what we're going to do is click Flatten, which is down here. And this is going to flatten both layers into one. So now it's ready to be printed. And as you can see in the Layers panel, it's one image. This one is the one that is hidden because we're not using that right now. So now this is ready to be printed. What you would do now is click Make It, click Continue, select your machine. You want to send it to your printer. Once you send it to your printer, you're going to click Print. I'm not going to click Print right now. And then it would print it and it would cut it. And then once you're done, I'm going to cancel the cut. You would go right back to your mat and you can do the exact same thing to get another image. What I like to do before I flatten it is duplicate it so that way I have two. Or another option is just come back to your images and you can search for what we're looking for. I tagged my journal, so I can type in journal and it should bring up everything that has been tagged journal. Because I want a certain page, one that I uploaded and that is not in Cricut, you can go to filter and check this uploaded box. This will give me anything that is marked journal that I've uploaded. So now I can go back to my template and click insert. So now I can move this one to the side and I can hide this layer because I'm no longer going to need that. And then I can start over. So let's say I wanted this to be on the inside. I don't want it to be a printed page. I'm going to use this as a divider, and I just want a simple little quote on here. You're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to go to images. Let's just use one that's on here. Let's say we want a quote. We're going to type in quote, and let's just pick this, Crazy Blessed. We're going to insert. Now this time I want a little bit of color because it's going to be my divider, so I don't want it to be plain. What we can do now is, let's go with a light pink, and let's say I want this to go, let's put it up a little higher, or let's go a little higher, because let's just say I want to add a sticker or some post-its or something underneath it. Now let's just say I want my hearts to be in white. What you're going to do is come over here to your layers panel, click the layer you want to change the color, and now it's turned white. I want both of them white, so there we go. So now that's ready to be printed. So now the next step is you're going to click select all, or you can click Control A, that also selects all, and now we want to flatten. Now if you look over on our layers panel, it's one image, so now it's ready to be printed and cut. Again, if this is going to be a divider, you want to make sure that you are cutting it on cardstock paper, not the flimsy scrapbook paper, because it will not work. So then I would click make it, cut it, print it, and then cut it, and we are good to go. And that is pretty much how you do it. And you can go on Google and search any image, any saying. The options are endless.